A pleasant afternoon to everyone. It is again midweek and more than half through the first quarter. I hope your minds aren't yet tired, for we will continue learning the wonders of computer servicing system. Our discussion for TLE Week 5 is divided into three parts, each involving a specific topic, namely application software and its types for the Learning Objective 1. Bakit at paano nga ba nagfa-function ang ating mga applications or attributes ng ating device? Storage devices for the learning outcome 2. Anong mga aparato ba ang ginagamit ng kasalukuyang panahon para mag-store electronically ng mga files, programs, etc. Lastly, work ergonomics for the learning outcome 3. Ano nga ba muna ang dapat nating isaalang-alang sa matagalang pagharap sa ating device? May a-apply natin ang parteng ito sa atin, gayong madalas tayo sa harapan ng mga gadgets ngayon dahil sa online class. We hope you will learn something from us today. Kaya dyan lamang kayo. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. We are open for clarifications kung may hindi kayo naintindihan after the webinar. Without further ado, let's start with our first learning objective, application software. Ano nga ba ito? Ang application softwares are also called productivity programs. It allows users to perform operations such as generating papers, spreadsheets, databases, and publications, as well as conducting online research, sending emails, designing graphics, running businesses, and playing games. It is specific to the task it is designed for, and it can be simple as a calculator application or as complex as a word processing application. So basically, ang application software ay ang responsible sa pag-execute ng mga tasks na pinapagawa natin sa ating devices. So if you all are clear about that, let's move on to its types. First on the list, we have word processing. It is a software or device that enable users to create, edit, and print documents. It allows users to write text, save it electronically, display it on a screen, alter it with keyboard inputs, and print it. So, sa word processing, meron tayong maraming types. Halimbawa na dito, ang ating Microsoft Office. It involves Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Presentations, and many more. Of course, mayroong ibang word processors aside from Microsoft, gaya ng Open Office Writer, WordPerfect, Google Docs, and Notepad. Next on the list are web browsers. Web browsers in general usage is commonly referred to as only a browser. It is a software program that allows a user to locate, access, and display web pages. This is also used to access websites on the internet and other content developed with languages like hypertext markup language or HTML and extensible markup language or XML. So basically, meron tayong mga different web browsers such as Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Opera, Lynx, and many more. Paano nga ba ito gumagana? Sa pagpindot ng isang user ng URL of a web page from a browser, ang web browser ang nagre-retrieve ng content ng web page at i-display sa device ng user. So next on the list, Internet. It is a global system of interconnected computer networks that uses the Internet Protocol Suite or TCP/IP to communicate between networks and devices. I guess you're already familiar with Internet, but in simple words, Internet is the global network that connects billions of devices across the world. Next type of application software is data processing.
Data processing is manipulation of data by the computer. It includes the conversion of raw data to machine-readable form, flow of data through the CPU and memory to output devices, and formatting or transformation of output. Data processing is any use of computers to perform defined operations on data. In the commercial world, data processing refers to the processing of data required to run organizations and businesses. Other examples of data processing are weather forecasting, statistical analysis, business applications such as accounting, payroll, and billing. Data processing also involves validation, which is ensuring that supplied data is correct and relevant, sorting, arranging items in some sequence and/or different sets, summarization, which is reducing detailed data to its main points, aggregation, combining multiple pieces of data, analysis, collection, organization, interpretation, and presentation of data, reporting, list detail or summary data or computed information, and lastly, classification, which is separation of data into various categories. Data processing takes data as an input, processes it, and provides an output. It simply does many tasks like validation, sorting, summarization, aggregation, analysis, reporting, and classification. Now, let us move on to storage devices. Storage devices, from the word storage, it is used in computers to store its data. It provides one of the core functions of a modern computer. Here are the types of storage. First one is primary storage, which is also known as main memory. It is directly or indirectly connected to the central processing unit by a memory bus. The CPU continuously reads instructions stored there and executes them as required. An example of a primary storage is RAM. RAM is short for random access memory because any of the data in RAM can be accessed just as fast as any of the other data. There are two types of RAM. First one is DRAM, which is dynamic random access memory, and SRAM, which is static random access memory. What exactly is the difference between these two? As you can see here, static RAM is faster than dynamic RAM, static RAM is more expensive than dynamic RAM, and static RAM has more power consumption and does not need to be refreshed, while dynamic RAM on the other side has less power consumption, however, it needs to be refreshed 1,000 of times. So ang RAM po, it is used to store the programs and data na ginagamit ng CPU in real time. Ang mga data dito sa RAM ay pwedeng basahin, i-edit at mabura ng ilang beses. RAM is a hardware element where the data being currently used is stored. Ang RAM ay isang volatile memory. What do you mean by volatile memory? Ibig sabihin nito ay required ng power ang computer para makapag-maintain ng stored information. Short words, nire-retain ng RAM ang contents ng computer kapag naka-power on ito. At kapag na-interrupt or pinatay naman si computer, mawawala yung stored data. So next one is ROM, which is also an example of a primary storage. ROM is short for read-only memory. It is used as the computer begins to boot up. Kung ang RAM ay nawawala agad yung stored data sa moment na pinatay mo yung computer, ang ROM naman na isang type ng primary storage na pre-recorded ang data. Ang data na nakastore sa ROM ay mariretain kahit pa nakapatay ang computer. In contrast sa RAM, ang ROM ay isang non-volatile memory. Its memory cannot be easily or quickly overwritten or modified. Lastly, another example of a primary storage is cache. Cache is a high-speed access area that can be either a reserved section of a main memory or a storage device. Ang cache ay mga reserved files. Sometimes it is considered as a waste. So, examples of a primary storage are RAM, ROM, and cache. Let us move on to another type of storage, which is secondary storage. Secondary storage is not directly accessible by the CPU. Computers usually use its input and output channels to access secondary storage and transfer the desired data using intermediate area in primary storage. An example of a secondary storage is hard disk. The hard disk drive is the main and usually largest data storage device in a computer. It can store anywhere from 160 gigabytes to 2 terabytes. There are two types of hard disk, internal and external hard disk. The difference between these two is that compared to internal hard disk, external hard disk is portable kasi pwede mo namang dalhin ito kung saan-saan at isaksak lang siya sa laptop or computer mo. And when it comes to price, external is more expensive than internal, while when it comes to speed and size, internal is faster and bigger than external. Ang madalas nating nagagamit na internal hard disk ay ang installed software, samantalang sa external hard disk naman ang madalas natin nagagamit ay ang USB flash drive. If secondary storage are devices that are used to keep information for future use, what is tertiary storage?
Tertiary storage. Typically, it involves a robotic mechanism which will mount, insert, and dismount removable mass storage media into a storage device. It is a comprehensive computer storage system that is usually very slow, so it is usually used to archive data that is not accessed frequently. This is primarily useful for extraordinarily large data stores accessed without human operators. In simpler terms, tertiary storage has lower access times, larger capacity, and lower cost than primary storage and secondary storage. The examples of tertiary storage are magnetic tape, a magnetically coated strip of plastic in which data can be encoded. Tapes for computers are similar to tapes used to store music. Tape is less expensive than other storage mediums but commonly a slower solution that is commonly used for backup. Magnetic tape is probably the least expensive for storing data. However, it is also the slowest of all storage media, which is why it is fine for archiving but not for immediate data retrieval. Next is the optical disc. Optical disc is any storage media that holds content in digital format and is read using a laser assembly. The most common types of optical media are Blu-ray, compact disc, and digital versatile disc. Optical disc, we're all familiar with CDs, BD, and DVDs. It is usually used for storing music and videos. CDs can store up to 700 megabytes, while DVDs can store up to 4.7 to 17 gigabytes, and BD can store up to 50 gigabytes of data. Last but not the least, offline storage. It is also known as disconnected storage. Offline storage is a computer data storage on a medium or a device that is not under the control of a processing unit. It must be inserted or connected by a human operator before a computer can access it again. Offline storage is any storage that must be physically inserted. It can be any type of internal and external storage that can be easily be removed from the computer. That's why it is called disconnected storage. The examples of offline storage are floppy disk. It is a soft magnetic disk, portable and slower to access than a hard disk and have less storage capacity, but they are less expensive. It can store up to 1.44 megabytes of data. There are two common sizes, 5.25 inches and 3.5 inches. Floppy disks are widely used to distribute software, transfer files, and create backup copies of data. Zip diskette is a hardware data storage device developed by iOmega that functions like a standard 1.44 inches floppy drive, capable to hold up to 100 megabytes of data or 250 megabytes of data on new drives. Now it's less popular as users needed larger storage capabilities. Zip diskette was an advanced version of the floppy disk. It can be used to store, share, and backup large amounts of data, which was not possible with ordinary floppy disk. USB flash drive. It is a small portable flash memory card that plugs into a computer's USB port and functions as a portable hard drive. Flash drives are available in sizes such as 256 megabytes, 512 megabytes, 1 gigabyte, 5 gigabytes, and 16 gigabytes, and are an easy way to transfer and store information. USB flash drives are commonly used because it can easily transfer and store information. It is also because the capacities range between 8 gigabytes and 1 terabytes, and it's more convenient than any other methods of file transfer or storage. Lastly, memory card. An electronic flash memory storage disk commonly used in consumer electronic devices such as digital cameras, MP3 players, mobile phones, and other portable devices. Devices cards are usually read by connecting the device containing the card to your computer or by using a USB card reader. Memory cards typically range in size from 2 gigabytes to 32 gigabytes. It is a storage device used for storing digital information, typically using flash memory. A flash memory is a storage that can keep stored data and information even when the power is off. And that's the types of storage devices. Now let's move on to learning outcome 3, work ergonomics.
Work ergonomics. First, what is work ergonomics? Ergonomics can roughly be defined as the study of people in their working environment. More specifically, an ergonomist designs or modifies the work to fit the worker, not the other way around. Many people sit in front of a computer for hours and without considering the effects on their body, and they put physical strain on their bodies on a daily basis without recognizing. These behaviors can result in cumulative trauma disorders or repetitive stress injuries, both of which have a long-term influence on health. There are 7 things you need for an ergonomically correct workstation, such as comfortable chair that supports your spine, a desk set at the proper height for using your keyboard, an external ergonomic keyboard, a mouse that fits your hand, a display set at comfortable height within arm's reach, good lighting, and anything that helps you reduce stress while you're working.
How to maintain health while working. First, modify your body mechanics. With correct body mechanics, individuals should be able to work effectively without using excessive energy and without hyperextending muscle and joints. Correct alignment minimizes undue stress and strain on the muscles, joints, ligaments, and tendons whether one is seated, standing, or lying down. Second, move. Movement has many benefits. It relaxes tissues, lubricates joints, and prevents stiffness, improves circulations, reduces fatigue, and builds stamina. One study showed that heavy computer users who successfully avoid computer-related pain move every 7 minutes. And last, exercise. To work your chest and shoulders, place both hands on your chair arms and slowly lift your bottom of the chair. Lower yourself back down but stop short of the seat. Hold for a few seconds. Do 15 times to stretch your back and strengthen your biceps. Place your hands on the desk and hang on. Keep fit. Physical fitness can help you avoid and treat problems related to computer use. Build your stamina with exercises for strength, flexibility, and cardiovascular health. When to get medical advice, see a clinician if you experience constant pain, numbness, weakness, and other problems that interfere with daily tasks. In this time of pandemic, wherein students like us spend of our days being in front of our gadgets because of online classes, it is important to work appropriately and make sure to take a break from time to time, for resting is as important as working. To sum up our discussion for today, here are some key concepts for you to remember. Application software, or simply applications, are often called productivity programs or end users programs because they enable the user to complete tasks such as creating documents, spreadsheets, etc.
Data processing, manipulation of data by a computer. It includes the conversion of raw data to machine-readable form, flow of data through the CPU and memory to output devices, and formatting or transformation of output.
A storage device is used in the computers to store the data, provides one of the core functions of the modern computer.
Primary storage, which is also known as main memory, it is directly or indirectly connected to the central processing unit via a memory bus.
Unlike primary storage, secondary storage is not directly accessible by the CPU. Computer usually uses its input or output channels to access secondary storage and transfers the desired data using intermediate area in primary storage.
Ergonomics is a field of study that attempts to reduce strain, fatigue, and injuries by improving product design and workspace arrangement. The goal is a comfortable and relaxed posture. So that would be all for our fifth week of CSS. On behalf of Group 1, we thank you for staying with us throughout the duration of the webinar. We hope you learned something from us today. Thank you and have a good afternoon.